like throughout the course of the night. Is there a thought to maybe going for another day because of where you guys are at in the season?
Going for a Navy?
Day, sorry.
Going for another day.
Yeah, like waiting. I mean, like you said, I mean, Austin was grabbing at it in the first half, grabbed at it the second time he was out there. Is there a thought that it's maybe not worth it to play him tonight, considering you guys are 2 weeks away?
I mean, it was discussed at halftime. Thought we'd give those guys about 6 minutes, and then we were going to, if we didn't cut into the lead, we were going to pull them. And obviously it was around that time that, I don't remember the exact time, but that happened.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
So again, like I said, Luka Doncic grabbing that hamstring, went back to the locker room at the third, did not return. They're saying he will get an MRI on Friday. So again, we sit here and we wait for the news on that, hoping that it's a good thing. JJ did say that he was getting worked on at halftime and was cleared to return to play.
Yeah, I mean, look, they have the medical staff that really monitors all these injuries and nagging injuries, and I'm sure it's up to the player after they do the physical therapy and all that stuff. They ask him if he can go, and apparently he said he could, but it looked like he totally re-aggravated right there, and it's going to cause him to, get an MRI and see where we go from there. But sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you feel good, and you want to try to push it, and then something aggravates it once again, and then you have the situation that he has now.
Yeah, MRI is always a tricky thing. It's a very expensive machine. They don't have them at any arenas. They have x-rays. So if you think you busted your pinky, boom, you just walk next door to the locker room. They'll take some film of it and say it's broken or it's not. When you're talking MRI for ligaments or muscles, that's more of a production. So we'll have to go somewhere locally. I'm sure the Dallas team doctors will recommend where Luka can go in Dallas tomorrow, and he'll get it checked out. Hamstrings are tricky. They can be, it could be a week, it could be 6 weeks. And I'm not saying at all what Luka's diagnosis is going to be. He could play next game if it's not that bad. So maybe not even a week. But you've got to see what the MRI says. And there's 3 levels. There's grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 hamstring strains. And hopefully we'll have more info tomorrow. And there's no rush to play against the Mavs. I don't want to disrespect them, but they're not a great team. Obviously, they've long been out of the playoffs. And maybe they just say, let's think about 5 days from now. Maybe Luka comes back for the rematch here in LA against OKC.
Yeah, so we will all wait word on that. The MRI for Luka Doncic's hamstring is on Friday. Having said that, let's turn our attention from one MVP candidate to an MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. A big game on a night where he really just had to kind of do his thing. He ended with 28. He was a plus 35 on 12 of 25 shooting. SGA, pretty smooth. Not
only is he a great player, most valuable player, but he's a leader. He's a really good leader. He knows how to ignite his team. He made some great passes early in the game, got guys involved. But getting downhill and getting to his spots is what he's known for. And look, sometimes you don't have to dominate the game. You don't have to score. You just have to be on the court, making passes, set whatever you have to do to get your teammates involved. And I think when he's on the floor, I think his teammates, they feel that vibe out there, and he's just a great leader, whether he's dominating with scoring or whether he's passing or just being on the court with his teammates.
James, he took 25 shots. I mean, he was pumping up a shot a minute, and why not? I mean, the Thunder had so many more offensive rebounds than the Lakers, so many more turnovers, forced so many more turnovers than the Lakers did. Just extra possessions is what that is. You could argue it's kind of like, to use a hockey analogy, I felt like OKC was on the power play that entire first quarter, maybe even the entire first half, James. I mean, they were just that outstanding, the way they forced the turnovers and then buried a lot of threes, too. It was really a double whammy for the Lakers in that first 12 minutes. Hard to recover from the start like that on the road against obviously a very, very good OKC team.
It is just an interesting thing when you look at the box score and you see, as we mentioned, all but one guy scored, but every guy for the Thunder attempted at least a shot.
Sure.
Yeah, it was that type of game, right? You empty the benches in the fourth quarter.
71 points off the bench.
Yeah, that's crazy, James. That's
a lot of points.
Yeah, that's a lot of offense from those guys.
And with that, we go on to the highlight and show you, in case you missed it.
His defense, his toughness, he's been playing physical. That's one good bright spot for the Lakers moving forward as they go into the rest of the season, the playoffs, that he's really improved on the defensive end. He has size, did a good job against Donovan. He's had some good matchups, so that's good for Jake.
Yeah, let's not forget the Lakers went without Marcus Smart today, so they were already down a pretty good defender, and Jake stepped in there, and I thought he did pretty well. He made SGA work for his points. SGA made only 1 3. Took a lot of shots. Shot literally almost every minute that he was on the court for, I think he was playing whatever he played. It was a lot. Jake made him work for it, so I give him credit.
Let's head back out to Oklahoma City. LeBron James is with Mike Trudell in the media.
Is there any comfort knowing that you do have as much time as you could have, I suppose?
Well, I mean, it's never a time to get comfortable in this league. The only thing we do know is that we won't be in the playoff, the play-in. So we have that week, but I mean, health is wealth. I mean, obviously, and like I said, we're already out with Marcus right now, and now Luka. We don't know what the timetable is, but obviously, we'll see what happens.
Mark Daigneault referred to the idea of, last year you guys came here, you beat them pretty handily in the first of 2 games, and he said sometimes it's good to get bloodied so you can respond. How do you internalize a loss like this, knowing that you guys play them in a few days as well?
Obviously our mindset should be about Dallas and not OKC. That's our next matchup, and then we'll get to them. But yeah, we understand and know what they're capable of, and they beat the shit out of us tonight, obviously from the start. And so when we get to that point, we'll address that. But we have another game on this road trip.
Part of you guys' success post All-Star game has been taking care of the basketball. What do they do that make it so tough to?
They just have multiple. They have multiple wing defenders, multiple guys that can get up in the ball. They try to speed you up as much as they can. They got great hands. They got great length. And it's hard versus a team like that when you're giving them pick sixes. I think we had 8 turnovers for 14 points like in the first 6 minutes, 7 minutes of the game. No, that's the game right there.
You knew what to expect, obviously, with the way that they play. Is there a difference between, when you haven't seen a team that's capable of that level of ball pressure for a little while? Do you expect?
Sometimes it takes a little bit to get adjusted to, when you haven't played a team like that in a while. But we've had some teams that kind of put the pressure on you, not to that capacity to have so many. And they were still without AC as well. Another one of those pesky, wing defenders that can, heckle the ball. So, but they did a great job. Obviously, they're defending champs, and we expect them nonetheless. We didn't, combat that.
You guys have been remarkably together over the last month. Is this where that gets tested?
No, nothing's changed. We still will be. Obviously, be tested. Obviously, with our, with the head of the snake. Obviously, don't want to make no conclusions, but we see what happens with him. And then we'll go from there, but nothing is rattled. It's one game. It's part of the NBA season. As defending champions, we get it. We understand.
If he misses some time, no matter what it is, what's the process for you to shift from the role you've been in to whatever the role would be asked of you while he's out?
I don't know what the role will be asked of me. I don't know. We have to see what that role will be. I've been in this one for a minute now, so it'll be an adjustment, but we'll see.
I like the line there. Health is wealth as we await the word on Luka Doncic, but also wait for the return of Marcus Smart. But Big Game, I'm actually going to let you share what you just shared, just in terms of how good they were in the month of March and what that can show you about a night like tonight.
Yeah, look, the Lakers have really done a remarkable job of finding, who they are, their identity, their defense. But when you play against a championship pedigree like Oklahoma, and they haven't just been playing great overnight. They are champions. They have the MVP, and it kind of shows you where you have to get to. I don't think the Lakers, it was a horrible game. I know they can play better, especially if they got Marcus Smart in there to set the tone defensively. But it does show them the tone, the attitude, the physicality, the way you have to prepare mentally to even start a game. From the beginning of the game, Oklahoma jumped on them so quickly, and they can't allow that to happen. So, but they see where they are right now. 5 days from now, they'll get that second test.
Yeah, really, the only thing that has stopped OKC this entire season is injuries. And the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs are 4-1 against them. Remember, they had that extra game in the in-season tournament in the NBA Cup, and they beat them in that, too. So it's been an amazing run for the Spurs, but the rest of the NBA needs to figure out how to do this as well. And I still go back to what we said on the pregame show. When the Lakers played OKC here in LA in early February, there was no Luka and there's no Shea, so that kind of canceled each other out right there. Allie, it went down to the wire. The teams are tied with like 4 or 5 minutes left, and then Jalen Williams starts, taking over in the end, and OKC wins by 9. I would say that was a little deceptive. It didn't even seem that close. So the Lakers can play with these guys. Maybe that's the tape that JJ shows the team before they play again in 5 days, because that game was obviously much more competitive than this game, or when they faced each other long ago, right after the season started. I believe it was November, and OKC won that one pretty handily too against the Lakers.
Walk us through it. I'll come back to you on this, as we just heard LeBron say you have to obviously take it one game at a time. As much as you want to look to that next test with the Thunder next Tuesday, you still have Dallas ahead of you on Sunday, because as we talked about in the pregame show, the magic number coming in for the Lakers was 4 when it came to solidifying that 3 seed.
Yeah, and the good news for the Lakers is Denver has a tough matchup Saturday. They're playing the Spurs, who we just gave some props to. So, maybe Denver, they're only about a game and a half behind the Lakers. Maybe after tonight's Laker loss, maybe they fall back to 2 games back if the Spurs beat them. So, the Lakers, I still say if they go at least 3-3, they're gonna sew up that 3rd seed. Denver's not going to go 6-0, and it's just when will Luka be back? And hopefully we hear from Austin and see how he's doing tonight.
That's the thing. So with 5 left, you have to go 3-2.
3-2
now.
Yeah.
And with that said, as you mentioned, you'll really feel how real that 15-2 month of March was for the Lakers.
You're getting ready
How
to
they
see.
respond.
You're getting ready to see in this how you recover versus Dallas. Regardless of who's in the game, they're going to have to figure out a way to win, and then you get to really look at. I don't know if JJ even wants to look at this film. Maybe go over your game plan of how you're going to start, how physical you have to play, and how you have to respond to their physicality and not let them push you around. Looking for mismatches is not going to work against this team. So when you pick and roll, it doesn't matter. Ayton, I thought he okay. Sometimes he got some inside shots. Dribbled a few passes and turnovers, but they're going to need Rui. They're going to need the team to really perform when they play them the next time.
Yeah, and James, the good news for the Lakers, their body of work, especially in March, was so important that they sewed up all these tiebreakers. Yeah. Houston, Minnesota, and most importantly right now, they got the tiebreaker with Denver. So there's no need to panic. It really was just one game on an 82-game schedule. The final score is not going to, win any beauty contest points, Allie, but they just got to go back to the fact that we've been playing really good basketball lately. We have the tiebreakers with the 3 teams right below us in the standings. Let's just close out with at least 3-2, maybe even 4-1 if you can make that happen.
It just hit me that you were talking about how it's really hard to find a weakness on offense, but also defensively to pick on someone for Oklahoma City, and they still didn't have Alex Caruso.
Yeah. How about that?
Dangerous.
Yeah.
We're heading to break. Austin Reaves fought through back pain to lead the